As a gateway to just about every airline, airport, and government agency in aviation, ICAO is the perfect target for cyber spies to set a trap. And according to documents obtained by CBC News, outside investigators believed they weren't dealing with just any hacker, but rather a group of hackers known as Emissary Panda, linked to the Chinese government. The investigators considered it to be a serious threat to the aviation industry and believed the hackers were spreading malware to foreign government websites. According to the documents obtained by CBC News, the hacker could have accessed personal information about anyone who visited ICAO buildings, past and current employees, ICAO financial transaction records, and more. The documents say investigators found an ICAO computer network full of holes, vulnerabilities dating back 3 years that should have been flagged and cleaned up by ICAO's own tech team. And what should have been a race to try to contain the attack was mired in delays, obstruction, and negligence. Why? Because the documents say 4 members of ICAO's tech team tried to hide evidence of their own incompetence, and one of their superiors allowed it all to happen. The 4 were escorted out of ICAO headquarters and placed on temporary paid leave a month after the cyber attack was first discovered. Confidential sources tell CBC News the head of ICAO, Fang Liu, shelved internal recommendations to investigate the 4 and their boss, James Wan. All still work at ICAO. Beyond what was going on internally at ICAO, did the UN agency have a responsibility to the broader public to do better?
An impact in terms of aviation partners of ICAO, but also an impact of the public. Other organizations that had nothing to do with aviation being hacked because its infrastructure was not well protected. If you're not operating it properly, it's akin to leaving your car unlocked and that car being used to commit a crime.
But what about those cyber spies? They used a classic watering hole attack. Find a website your targets frequent, ICAO, and infect it with malware to gain access to those targets. Typical of Emissary Panda.
It's natural that if you are being tasked to go after targets in the aerospace sector, rather than going after each one of them individually, why don't you go to the one place that they all go to? Okay, and ICAO would be a natural choice. One-stop shop for hacking everybody else in the aerospace industry.
Remember, they're believed to be sponsored by the Chinese government. So what were they after exactly? I spoke with an expert in these kinds of attacks.
They target a range of industries. In fact, when we look at all of their targeting activities, they have targeted organizations in North America, South America, Asia, Europe, and even the Middle East. And when we look at the industries they have targeted business services, government, high-tech, pharmaceuticals, automotives, and so forth. But a notable number of their activities seems to be focused around aerospace and transport industry, including airplane parts and products, airline industries, as well as airport operations, which may suggest a particular focus of this group, at least at some point during their operation, on airplane technologies.
In a statement, ICAO denied many of the allegations, saying the seriousness of the incident was exaggerated. But it goes on to say that since this 2016 event, ICAO has made robust improvements to its cybersecurity to mitigate further incidents. CBC asked Canada's Transport Minister about the 2016 hack.
I will be speaking to the Secretary General at ICAO to find out more about this, because obviously we as a member of ICAO want to make sure that any information that we share with them is protected.
Marc Garneau also said Transport Canada will look into the allegations. And you can find more details in my online story at cbc.ca/Montreal.